Hi, I'm Gracia Elting, and I am going to be talking about some South Korean culture versus American culture in the business life. I'll be talking about some of the history, meeting and business etiquette, politics, and economics, and then in the end I'll list some resources if you want to learn some more. So some cultural history from 1910 to 1945. The peninsula was ruled by Japan. By peninsula, I mean North Korea and South Korea. That's known as the Korean Peninsula. So that was 35 years they were under the rule of Japan. And then in 1950 to 1953, the Korean War took place where North Korea was trying to take over South Korea, but with the help of America, they came to a truce to stop fighting, even though today they're still enemies. On May 10th of 2022, that's coming up, the 13th president will take office in South Korea. Now, in South Korea, the major religion is Buddhism, but there's also some Christianity. Everyone in South Korea pretty much follows Confucian philosophies, which are respect your elders, always have duty, loyalty, honor, and sincerity in your character. Confucianism is from Japan, and that kind of transferred over from when they ruled there, and it stuck. And a good term to know is kaibun, which means face or pride. And that pretty much means you do not want to insult anyone or make them feel bad, because then it kind of looks more bad on you than them. Now, here are some super important things to remember if you're having a meeting or business with anyone from South Korea. Typically, their hellos and goodbyes or apologies are given, you give bows with your hands to your sides and your heads to the ground. Oftentimes they'll try and take on American culture and handshake, but it's still nice, like in the second picture, to bow while you do your handshake. Always have business cards ready. Those are like a key aspect for South Korean culture, and you present it to people like in the picture shown here with your thumb and forefinger. They're always watching your body language to see who is respecting them, how you're going to act, etc. South Koreans are very indirect, so they will rarely ever answer with yes or no, so it's common to rephrase your questions multiple ways to try and figure out what their answer is. It's nice to use like simple English. Anything too complex and stuff is hard because it's their second language, so that could hard their kiban. South Koreans are very conservative, and this is both mentally and physically, so it's important that you dress super covered up. Don't wear any colors that stand out. Neutral colors are what they do. Koreans follow a herd mentality. That means like you want to stick in, blend into your surroundings. You don't want to stand out because then you're kind of seen as the odd person and they don't really like you for that. When addressing people, always use their surnames or last names first. Even just in common talk or meetings or hanging out, you always just call people by their last name. Their first name is not common. And above all, just avoid conflict and avoid harming someone's kiman. So economically, you've probably heard of Seoul, which is their main capital there. It is a booming city for internet connectivity, biotechnology, innovation, startups, and all things technology. If you haven't heard of Seoul, you want to get connected. They are one of the biggest growing cities worldwide for technology. They are 1.2 times smaller than New York City, but 2 times denser with people. So you can imagine how crazy that would be. Although, unlike New York, they are very clean. They take pride in having clean streets and everything like that. So it's actually kind of nice to go through their subways and stuff. Chaebols are large, successful businesses, and that's what they call them. They have Samsung, Hyundai, LG, SK Group. All of those have started in Seoul, and their headquarters are down there. Towards the political side of things, they are very traditional and orthodox. Their ideals are very much less progressive than America, and they focus a lot less on individuality, which means that if you stand out or are different, that's kind of seen as a bad thing. So you kind of want to fit in, try and stick to normal, traditional, old-fashioned ways. Hierarchies are there for everything. In families, you want to look to the eldest person or the man. In workplaces, it's a top-down system, so you always go to the executives or the higher-ups, superiors. And one thing to avoid talking about is gender, because women are treated typically bad in South Korea. They get less pay for the same work. They get more responsibilities, and men just have bad ideals on them. And feminism is seen as the same equality of terrorism. So it's South Korea is very women negative. And then moving on to the LGBTQ plus community, they are very resistant to those types of relationships. Um, it's not illegal to be in the relationship, but it is illegal to have unions or marriages. So those are just some things to avoid. And then here's some resources.